Welcome everyone to Gamer Melt. As you can see, this is a talking head video, but I've got some really big news and I wanted to get it out as quickly as I could. But first, make sure to check out the GamerMelt Discord server at discord.gg/GamerMelt. It's for anyone who loves talking gaming hardware. It's free, so definitely make sure to check that out once again at discord.gg/GamerMelt. Anyway, today, the RTX 3060 released, Nvidia gets resizable bar support, full 11th gen is already on sale, the RX 6700 XT release is set to be better, Nvidia is actually helping gamers, sort of, and Intel's discrete gaming GPU lineup leaks. Okay, so with that, let's get right to it. Yesterday, officially, the RTX 3060 was released, and with it came reviews and all of that good stuff. Now, as far as the reviews, I will say that it looks to be a decent card, but at the same time, because so many continue to compare it to the 1060, which I get what they're doing, they're saying, you know, this is the first real new card since the 1060, but at the same time, it didn't really look all that great, at least not like the 3080 and 3070 did. But still, not a bad card. With that said, they sold out very quickly, although I will say that someone actually stated that one of the cards was there for upwards of 20 minutes, but it was one that was selling for a ridiculous price. As you can see here, there's quite a number of cards as high as 500, and I do believe, 550, I believe some even get up to the $600 price range. And I believe it was that card that was still there, but once again, this still is good news. If Nvidia hadn't done what they did, I bet miners would have bought it up instantly. With that said, it still is absolutely ridiculous. The pricing is just sad to say the least. Anyway, moving on, we have Nvidia officially announced with the 3060 that they are supporting resizable bar. Now, for those who don't know, resizable bar is the thing that AMD coined as their smart access memory technology, which basically all it is called resizable bar, and it's something anyone can do. The great news is that it supports both Intel and AMD. The bad news is the fact that the 3060 is the only GPU right now that supports it. They are expecting the rest of the 30 series to get it in late March, but at the same time, it still kind of sucks that only one new GPU that basically no one was able to get is the only one that supports it. Remember that it gives you a little bit of a jump in performance, and some games actually get a fairly decent jump in performance. Once again, this does support both Intel and AMD. And next up for today, Intel's 11th gen CPUs known as Rocket Lake are already available for pre-order. Now, if you followed the channel, you know that a little while back, WCCF Tech actually claimed that Intel is going to be fully announcing their CPUs on the 16th of March, and that same day they're going to be available for pre-order, but the bad news is that reviews actually aren't able to drop until the CPUs go on sale on the 30th. The reason that's such bad news is because of all the shortages that have been going on lately. The simple fact is that these are almost certainly, they would have sold out on, any normal release. Then given this kind of release environment, they are certainly going to sell out in seconds. What that means is by the 30th, they're going to be sold out. So you're either going to have to get them for the pre-order date, or you're probably not going to be able to get them at all, which means you won't have reviews to look at to determine if you should actually buy them when you have the chance to buy them. As I said in my video where I talked about it, but anyway, these CPUs are already available, and as you can see, pretty much all of the specs that we've already seen do look to be accurate for the most part. With that said, you can see that these are certainly pre-order prices because the 11,900, not even K model, is over $500, with the 11,900K upwards of $600. Now, remember that this is an 8-core, 16-thread CPU, so that's obviously absurd, especially since these are still on 14 nanometers. Now, with that said, they do have a new core design, which is going to be pretty exciting to see, but we're still on 14 nanometer plus infinity. So obviously that is not the actual retail price. Don't worry too much about that. That's just a ridiculous pre-order price for anyone who essentially wants to guarantee they'll get it, but are willing to spend anything to do it. And next up for today, we have a bit of good news along with bad news. This story was actually originally done by Cal Kotlin and later by Video Cards. And the thing about it is that it looks like the RX 6700 has been delayed. In fact, they're actually stating, and I will say that I've heard this from one of my contacts who told me and was definitely accurate about that original announcement date of March 3rd, who also basically confirmed that the RX 6700 non-XT model has been delayed and is not going to be announced on March 3rd. Now, that's obviously in contrast to what I assumed would be happening in my recent video where AMD announced that, but my contact actually told me in response to that video, and I'm still more or less vetting it, but they obviously know something because they got the March 3rd date right, and the fact that the 6700 non-XT model won't be announced. Now, according to them, it was actually set to be available the same time as the 6700 XT, but as you can see here, once again, according to Cal Kotlin, that is not the case anymore. With that said, we have some, I definitely don't want to say great news or really even good news, but all right news. When we look here, apparently, according to Cal Kotlin, there were only 100 reference cards that were sent to France, with a few hundred more AIB cards set to come. Now, while they do mention that this is worrisome, and it certainly is, it isn't great news like I said, but when we compare it to the RX 6800 series, France only got double-digit number of cards. So this is certainly looking like there's going to be significantly more for the 6700 XT. Not only that, but they do claim that AIB partners have been stocking the cards for quite a while. So I don't want to get anyone's hopes up, but maybe, just maybe, you'll get a chance to buy the GPU. Oh, and speaking of, I will have links to the 11th gen CPUs. They will be affiliate links, so they do help the channel out. I'll have some links to those in the description below. So if you're interested in that when they do come out, definitely make sure to check it out. Anyway, next up, this is really interesting. As you can see here, now this is only 2 out of the 3 crypto mining cards that Nvidia announced just a little while back, but 2 out of the 3 are apparently set to be Turing-based GPUs. The reason that's such a big deal is the fact that at least for these 2 cards, it guarantees that Nvidia is not going to be taking Ampere GPUs to make their mining cards. Now, in the original story, I did mention the fact that Nvidia stated that they're going to be using stuff that essentially wasn't good enough for the RTX 3000 series, so it wouldn't be taking it away from gamers anyway, but this is even better. There's almost certainly a surplus of Turing GPUs, given the fact that they've been out for a few years now, so Nvidia almost certainly has a ton of those that, weren't good enough to be Turing gaming cards, and now they're using them for mining GPUs. And that actually makes a lot more sense than stating it for the 30 cards just because they haven't been around for all that long anyway. And of course, some outlets basically claim that that was not true. Now, nothing against them in any conceivable way, just because in the past that's been the case. But at least this time it's way more believable. And really, even if they do go for the gaming GPUs anyway, it will not affect the RTX 3000 cards, just because they're on a completely different architecture, on a completely different node from a completely different manufacturer. So basically, at least for these 2 cards, which these are the bottom end cards, now I will assume that the 2 higher-end cards could be coming from Ampere, but we're not 100% sure either way on that, and even if they are, at least that's only half. Now, I don't want anyone to misconstrue what I'm saying to try and claim that Nvidia is some kind of saint or anything like that. No. Nvidia doesn't care about you. Of course not. They don't care about me. They are a business. Their goal is to sell you something that you want to buy or willing to spend what they're asking for. They just want to make money. And this would obviously be a great way to do that by selling older stock that they couldn't have sold anyway. So obviously this is a business decision, but at the same time, like I said, then Nvidia has a financial reason to not screw over their core audience. And, keep in mind that we are the core audience. As soon as the crash happened back in 2018, what did miners do? They left. They quit. Miners don't care about Nvidia. Nvidia doesn't care about them, obviously, but gamers are their core audience. And if that happens again, Nvidia would be completely screwed if all gamers hated them and they lost their entire audience. So yeah, I just wanted to clarify that. But anyway, in today's final story, we have a tweet originally from Raichu that seemed like a jumbled mess until some people decoded it. And what they found was this. Basically, this is a leaker who certainly has gotten things right in the past, and what he's sharing is essentially a full lineup of Nvidia's upcoming DG2-based gaming GPUs. Now, I say gaming GPUs because, as many of you know, DG2 is expected to be based on their new architecture that's specifically made for gamers. And when we look at these specs, I will actually say that we've already seen a 512 EU GPU, but what they do here is they added the fact that it comes with up to 16 gigabytes of what we believe to be GDDR6 memory on a 256-bit bus. Now, the thing is, when we look at that 256-bit bus, that's actually really interesting because it seems fairly small for this caliber of GPU, which lends me to believe that Intel is doing something similar to what AMD did with their Infinity Cache. Of course, I can't say that for sure, and the main thing a lot of you care about is definitely going to be performance, to which I really quickly, this is, not at all scientific or going to be extremely accurate or anything, but if we go here, look at the Iris Xe Max, which is Intel's XELP, so they're low power, and this is actually a notebook GPU, but we know the cores, we know it's a similar architecture, so if we do a little bit of math here, you can see that in Firestrike, the Xe Max got around 5,000 overall score, so got around a 5,800 in the graphics score. Now, this is interesting because when we look here, we can see that the graphics score is 41,986 on average with the RTX 3080. And we know that the Xe Max has, I believe it's 96 EUs. So we're looking at over 5 times the amount of EUs, which certainly puts it right around that range. Now, like I said, this is not at all scientific in any way. Obviously, things don't perfectly scale up like that, but at the same time, it's likely going to have faster clocks. All of that. Basically, this just gives you a very rough idea of the potential a 512 EU GPU from Intel could get to, meaning Intel could actually compete with both AMD and Nvidia's newest GPUs, and that's exciting. I don't care who you are. That's real competition. Anyway, to really quickly go back, you can see that there's also 384 EU variant, 256 EUs, 192. So they seem to be planning a full lineup of Intel GPUs, which is a stark contrast from their DG1, which was basically just a one-off GPU. So yeah, this is exciting. I'm excited. I hope you are. Real competition does look to be coming. Anyway, I do hope you liked the video. I know I rambled a lot, but it was just some stuff that I really wanted to talk about. I figured this would be the best format to do that. So yeah, if you liked the video, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up. Definitely make sure to check out the GamerMill Discord server. And as always, have a great day.